It's time, my friends. It's time for the progressive stream. There can no longer be any more delay. I get a lot of emails, so many emails these days. Too many emails these days, as a matter of fact. And a lot of those emails ask me something to effectively, to this sentiment. What can I do to further the material interests of the working class? What can I do to advance socialism? What can I do to advance leftism? What can I do to do praxis? And that's a tough question. It really is. It's a really tough question because the answer to that relies on a number of factors that I am not familiar with at any given point in time. What city do you live in, for example? That's pretty important. I mean, if we're talking about what you can do, I kind of need to know about your circumstances, right? But the issue is, I don't actually give a fuck where any of the individuals who email me come from, because I get so many emails, and so many of you email me irrelevant horseshit. I love you, but you do. And for me to individually answer this question for every person I talk to, I would spend my entire life just in Gmail, just tick-a-typing. So this is what I'm going to do. This is going to be the stream. I am going to talk about every single thing I believe an individual can do in the United States of America to advance the aforementioned interests. Much of what I say is going to be applicable outside of America too, but I am going to be designing this specifically for America because I am in America, and every country has different legal systems, every country has different social systems, every country has different cultural norms. I'm going to be focusing primarily on America. And we're going to do it in a paint stream, because that is how we organize our thoughts, motherfucker. Okay? Let me get a good font text selected. Just a good Arial black. Yes, yes. Let's set that up to a nice default 27. That looks really good. I like that a lot. We'll turn off the edge. Yep, there we go. Now that is what we're going to be working with. Now, first, I'm going to define socialism, okay? A lot of people don't seem to understand what I mean when I refer to it, okay? Socialism is an economic system which is predicated on two basic components. First, collective control of the means of production. This usually refers to worker control of the means of production. Some people, notably bad people, believe that the state owning the means of production is socialism. They are bad and dumb. Don't listen to them. If the workers collectively own the means of production, or if the means of production are owned by some sort of state apparatus that is then directly controlled by the citizenry, I would consider those to both be acceptable control over the means of production. This is what I advocate for most of all. The reason I advocate for this is because A, it has been shown, at least through our understanding of worker cooperatives, which is kind of like a little mini instance of collectivized ownership of the means of production, that such a system is beneficial to the worker. It is economically productive and it makes people happier. It also reduces alienation, makes people happier to go to work. It's just a good thing, you know? It's something that people like doing. Additionally, one of the greatest problems our society faces is that there seems to be a fundamental disconnect between the interests of the vast majority of people, who I'll call the workers, and the interests of a very small group of people who control the industries or the means of production those workers work at. It is essentially the division between the bourgeois, or the capital owners, and the proletariat, the capital, well, workers. The divide between these two groups is extensive, and the latter group, the bourgeois, has a much greater proportional level of control over the political systems we live in. There have been studies showing that wealthy people are far more likely to get their electoral interests passed through Congress in America than the average American. The reason for this, of course, is because democracy in our country isn't perfect, and the more powerful you are, and wealth is undeniably a form of power, the more you can tip the scale. Collectivizing the ownership of the means of production fixes this problem, because if all workers collectively own the means of production, there are no longer any capital owners, or one could say everyone is a capital owner, so long as you work. So, that is why I advocate for that. The second component of socialism is the abolition of the commodity form, which essentially means you decommodify everything, which essentially means no longer are any goods produced for the purpose of selling those goods on a market. Markets continue to exist in their own form, but you no longer have the commodification of resources as a central component of labor and economic organization within a country. Now, this is more complicated. There are different theorists who all believe in socialism to varying extents, who believe that there are different types of markets that could be implemented effectively and ethically given time. I am one such. I am an anarcho-syndicalist. I believe it is entirely possible for there to be certain types of markets in certain types of industries that are not only very economically efficient, but also very beneficial to the planet at large. But for the interests of this discussion, I will be focusing on how you can bring about market socialism. At this moment, and this is just a fact, there is nothing any of us can do to abolish the commodity form. It's sad, I know, but that is a little bit out of our hands at the moment. We lack that power. I'm sorry. I do think it is possible to incrementally introduce the abolition of the commodity form, but it is very difficult because to do so, we would have to oppose the interests of the capital owners. The capital owners make money off of the commodification of these industries, so we would be essentially depriving them of their wealth revenue or their revenue generation if we attempt to decommodify the industries they own. However, I do believe there are ways to incrementally bring about collective ownership of the means of production. For the purposes of this, I will be talking about everything that you can do to bring about incremental reform to either of these things, and things you can do to convince other people to agree with you that these are things worth doing. After all, the bedrock of populist movements, which this most certainly is a belief that power stems from the individual, and that individuals, collectively, are capable of doing great things. First of all, we need to address the thing all of you need to be doing more than anything else, okay? This is the number one, I'm not joking. This is the most essential thing that you need to do to bring about Praxis. You cannot meaningfully better the world while you yourself are personally a wreck. You can't do it. I'm really sorry. There are a lot of people who seem to be of the opinion that if they dedicate their entire lives to a given social cause, they are going to be capable of bringing about tremendous change. In reality, this leads to burnout. This leads to depression. This leads to an unhealthily low level of self-esteem. This leads to a whole bunch of bad stuff, okay? So don't. Some people have already brought up a comparison to Jordan B. Peterson's advice, clean your room. I agree with Jordan B. Peterson's advice. You should clean your room. At least I agree with that portion of the advice. So please, do clean your room. Take care of yourself. Exercise occasionally, or exercise a lot if that's something that you want to do. Make sure you're getting enough vitamins and minerals. Make sure you're getting enough sunlight. Most importantly for you losers, make sure you're getting enough socialization. That is very important. Socialism is a fundamentally social enterprise. This is not something you can do in a shady room while fucking popping off on a cigar, okay? You need comrades. Solidarity is the basis of collective action. And in order for you to be able to engage in any of those processes, you're going to need to be able to socialize. I gotcha. With that being said, keep in mind the ancient adage, all right? Adage? I don't know how that's pronounced. From each according to their ability, to each according to their need. I am not a very social person. I do not like going outside that much. I take care of myself within a limited range of ways that I feel comfortable taking care of myself, and in other ways I slack off, am lazy, and sometimes this is to the detriment of my well-being. But because I am on YouTube, and because I am a popular streamer, I have the ability to engage in the spread of class consciousness without doing things that I would typically expect other people to need to do for them to achieve the same. That is because I have abilities many people watching right now do not, specifically access to a large audience. Some of you may also have access to a large audience, in which case you will find that you also have abilities not everyone has. This is just a fact of life. Many of you can do things that I'm not capable of doing. True, as my girlfriend in chat posits, I hate making food. I only really eat home-cooked food if she makes it. As disgustingly traditionally gendered as that is an example of her skills aiding me in my ability to do my skills. My happiness, my ability to feel good about myself and to eat tasty food plays into my ability to do what I do here on YouTube. Remember that making the world a better place through solidarity is all about a fine and intricate network of social connections that allows everyone to maximize their productive output, okay? Do not feel bad if you cannot do everything possible. Do not feel as though you are less of a person if you cannot do all the things I suggest. Focus on yourself first. Exercise, eat well, take care of yourself, get sun, socialize, find people you care about if that's something that you want to do, okay? And once you've done that, or at least while you're doing that, then worry about the rest of the world. This is most important. Now, I am now drawing in the baby box. The baby box is where babies go. If you are under the age of 18 or under the age of majority in whatever country that you are currently in, this is your baby box, okay? I know that there are a lot of people right now who are watching who are underaged. I don't know why you all are here. I'm very sorry. This content is not appropriate for people of your age, but I cannot stop you. So hello. Now, if you are in middle school, or God forbid, elementary school, there is nothing that you can do to advance class consciousness. There is nothing you can do to advance socialism. I am very sorry. You can't. You're just too young. And in all likelihood, you're probably very stupid. That's not an insult. I was very dumb at those ages too. I'm still dumb, but in different ways that are more acceptable in public discourse. If you are very young, in all likelihood, your advocacy for the things you care about are either A, going to be horribly misinformed, or B, actively counterproductive. Just don't. Just don't. If you're super duper young, don't worry about it. If you're in high school, there are some things you can do. Like, for example, here are some suggestions. Join socially active school clubs. You can do that. I didn't really participate much in high school clubs. I didn't do much of anything in high school, which was unfortunate. There's a really big one, though. You're probably not going to like this one very much. Life is not fair, but in the lives that we live today, we have to recognize the fact that your abilities and opportunities later in life are going to be affected, at least in part, yeah, I know you're mad, are going to be affected, at least in part, by your ability to do well in school. I know. Guys, I got horrible grades in high school, but it would have helped me if I hadn't. It's just something to recognize. One of the reasons that high school is so important is because high school is the first opportunity you have to engage with social dynamics that are at least comparable to those you'll experience in the real world, okay? You're going to make friends. You're probably going to find people you fucking hate. You're going to have to deal with obligations and responsibilities while balancing a home life, though in your case, for high school, home life's probably just going to be doing some chores or maybe taking care of younger siblings. One of the important things that you learn even as early on as in daycare, before even preschool, is the ability to interact with and engage with other people who you don't necessarily like. If you can do that, if you can dislike a person and be disliked by a person, and still get along with them and work towards common goals, like, say, for example, during school projects, that is a very valuable, very, very valuable skill. This is one of the things that I cared about a lot when I was in high school. When I'm doing a group project, I don't give a fuck who I'm working with. I want to do the best project I can because I don't want to let other people down. I don't care if they dislike me or if I dislike them. I want to do the best possible job that I can. I want to work on it as hard as I can. I want to be a good representative of myself. Learn to take pride in your work. I don't know why the Clip Studio Paint takes so long to update the text after I've typed it. Learn to take pride in your work, okay? Self-esteem is a tricky thing, all right? Your self-esteem should be a given. No matter how much in life you fuck up, no matter who hates you, no matter how dejected and deplorable and miserable you are, you should be able to feel good about who you are as a person. Of course, in practice, it doesn't always work that way. Our self-esteem tends to hinge on our ability to do well, to set tasks for ourselves, and then fulfill them. This is the case, I think, often with people who are depressed. They lose that fundamental connection between the ability to feel good about yourself following a task achieved and the ability to achieve that task. Learn to take pride in your work. It is extremely important that you, as a human being, develop a fundamental appreciation for the things you are capable of doing. It does not matter whether or not you're not as smart as everyone else. It doesn't matter if you're weak. It doesn't matter if you are uncreative. It does not matter at all. The only threshold you as an individual will ever need to truly meet is the standard that you set for yourself. Nobody else's standards matter. Everyone else's standards should be irrelevant compared to what you are personally setting for yourself. If you are not that intelligent or not that capable, improving upon your previous best is a success that you should be able to take pride in no matter what everybody else is doing. I'm good at some things. I'm pretty good at public speaking. I'm not very good at all at sports. I never really hinged my self-esteem on sports. I've just never been that good at them. I'm just not good. I'm tall, but I could never do basketball. I'm strong, but I could never do football. I was just never that good at it. I played soccer when I was, God, must have been in 3rd or 4th grade or something. I think I got a goal once. I was just never that good at sports. But I was very good at weightlifting. My body grew. It exploded once I hit puberty and took the weightlifting quarter for my high school's exercise course. I worked like hell at that. And in the course of 3 months, I went from a fairly average chubby dude to being the second strongest person in my entire grade. There was one person that was stronger than me, and we had a deadlift off that reached the 300 or 400s. And I was 15 at the time. That was something that I was good at. And I'm still pretty strong, even though I don't work out that much anymore. But I'm nowhere near as strong as I was back when I was in high school. In fact, my body right now is materially worse in every conceivable way to how it was in high school. I have reached far greater heights in the past. Probably back then I might have been as much as twice as strong as I am today. And you know what? I'm still proud today whenever I do a little bit better in the gym or a little bit better with my exercises than I did in the past. Because to me, it's not about holding myself to some ephemeral standard of perfection. It's about doing a little bit better than I did yesterday, and recognizing that if I'm doing worse, it's something I have the power to fix in the future. Learn to take pride in the work, not the outcome, not the result, not the victory, but the work. You can do that, you're going to be much happier for the rest of your life than you would be otherwise. And being happy is a component of being strong, and strength builds solidarity. Wait for that to catch up. Try to put work into college credits or volunteering. Just do it. God damn, why is it so... Is this just how text works? Okay, it's just how text works when you get too many text I don't know how that works. Try to put work into college credits or volunteering. I took exactly one college credit course when I was in high school. Like I said, I was not that good at... I didn't do that good in high school, okay? But the one course that I took was a community relations course that was being hosted from Los Angeles Community College. It was being hosted from that college at my high school. I went there, and I had a great time with it. I actually made friends with a police officer. I wasn't a leftist at the time. I didn't really think about it too much. But she was very nice to me. One time she even drove me to work. She saw me walking... This was after high school. She saw me walking to work, and she pulled up in the police car. I didn't know who she... I just saw a police car rolling up, you know, so I didn't... I didn't know it was her. She opened the door, and it was her, and she was like, hey, where are you going, you know? You look like you're in a hurry. And like, oh, I'm late for work, and she drove me there. It was really nice. She was a really nice woman. I actually regret not getting to know her better, because, of course, there was no detriment to me to doing so. Anyway, that was the one college course that I took. I learned a lot of really essential skills. In fact, because it was a community relations course, many of the skills that I learned during that course are now relevant to my job. My job is the means by which I achieve Praxis now. So, those college courses, or that college course, was the one of the instigatory sort of elements of me being able to do what I do today. That could very well be the case for you. Likewise with volunteering, if you can. Again, keep in mind that these are not things that you all have to do. You are in no way, shape, or form obligated to do all of these things. But if you can do these things, it will usually lead to you having a more robust opportunity in the future to engage in Praxis. We can throw a few more in here, though. I think we could fix a lot of problems that we have broadly with intra-leftist discourse if people were capable, or at least willing to, have a diverse friend group from the get-go. Intellectually, it is very possible to have never in your life encountered a black person, never in your life encountered a gay person, never in your life encountered a poor person, and to still be a perfectly intersectional, diverse, like wunderkind of progressivism. In practice, this is not usually the case. I strongly encourage everyone, especially if you're in high school, because in high school you are afforded opportunities you will not be otherwise in life, to try and have diverse social experiences. Just do it. I know this doesn't seem... There are only 4 black people in my school. Again, you can't... If you can't do everything, that's fine. But make an effort, at least online. Yeah, exactly, Stoven Bloke. Online communities make this easy to do. And that is very true. Do they count as friends if they're on the internet? Yeah, of course. Internet friends aren't quite the same as real life friends, but I don't necessarily know if that makes either of them better or worse than the other. But I do think that there are differences. Now, let me point this out. This does not mean that you should start treating people like fucking Pokemon and running around trying to like, oh, I haven't gotten an Asian in my, I haven't gotten an Oriental in my friend group yet. Ha, better cat. Oh, is that a pansexual? Gotta get them all. Like, no. Do not do that. But much in the same way that the life you build for yourself can be a product of implicit biases, so too can you form implicit biases from the life you build for yourself. That's very important to remember. For example, do you want to know what got me invested in leftism from the beginning? The very first introduction I had to anything even approximating radical thought was my black Brazilian not girlfriend at the time, to whom I lost my virginity and did stuff that, frankly, if I described, would make all of you obscenely jealous. I had no reason to be a friend to this person. No reason whatsoever. She was a queer, boisterous, giantess. She's so tall. Black woman, who didn't give a fuck about video games, but really, really liked abstract art. And I was a pretentious, fedora-wearing, dipshit, fucking box frame glasses white boy who played video games and, honest to God, like fantasized about like having katana skills one day. Okay, there was no reason whatsoever for us to interact. The fact that we even came close, and I was the only one too. Every other friend she had was like some tall, dark, and handsome fucking like Latino guy who talked with an accent, you know, and they all like drove around in fancy cars. But you know what? She was cool. She was nice. I liked her. She liked me, obviously. We got along, and I learned so much. I learned so goddamn much from her. Her life experiences, her interest in art, her national origin, her family, the diversity of her friend group. I learned so much shit. And all of it was pretty, I don't know if frightening is the right word, unnerving to begin with. Because, I mean, again, like I was just like a little kind of sheltered, like little white boy, you know? It was really cool. Again, don't treat it like Pokemon collection or anything, but do remember that we are a product of our biases, and our biases produce us. So try to form experiences that minimize the potential for implicit biases to develop. And finally, if you are young, no. If only I was better at typing. Most schools will have either a club dedicated to informing people of volunteering opportunities, or will have some professor who is involved significantly in local action. This is usually the case. The youth climate strikes are a very good example. Tear jerk. You're going to find a lot of young lefties if you go to those youth climate strikes. Oh, and lest I forget, perhaps one of the most important ones. You have no goddamn idea how much the average teacher is silently waiting for like a cool kid to come around and take an interest in their shared belief in a radical future, okay? Education has always had a fuck ton of lefties in it. always had a fuck ton of lefties, okay? And the reason for that is because the more based and epic your brain grows, the more likely you are to be a lefty. This grows more the case the farther in education you go. In high school, I did not have, I'll tell you, in fact, I'll tell you straight up, I don't know if there were any leftists in my high school, but you know what got me into sociology to begin with? I had a comparative government teacher called Professor Hinojosa. He's a very handsome gay man, and he didn't do anything weird. I'm being weird now. And he was a comparative government teacher. It was an AP class. It was my one AP class, and he was wait, sorry, I'm only clarifying that because I just realized the moment I said it, when people say gay teacher, that they, like, a lot of people implicitly suggest like some, because people like assume like pedophilic intentions from like gay teachers or whatever. Okay, I'm just deflecting those intentions. He was like an incredible professor, but there's no way for me to talk my way out of this. Just clip whatever you want, okay? I don't care. Anyway, he was a phenomenal teacher. And it was my one AP class, and it was what got me into the social sciences. Beforehand, I thought I was going to be going into the hard sciences, like, I don't know, chemistry or something. But the purpose of the AP comparative government course was for me to was for everyone in the class to learn about the parliamentary systems of 6 countries. I think it was Mexico, Brazil, America, England, Iran, and Russia, if I remember correctly. I think those were the 6. And we learned about those 6 governments, and we learned about them and their histories, and we compared and contrasted differences and took a look at the historical and material contexts of those countries and related them to the systems they had built for themselves. Like, hey, maybe this type of system leads itself more to this type of outcome, you know? It was really interesting. It was a high school course, so we couldn't really go that in depth or anything, but it was a good time. I wish I had befriended Hinojosa a little bit more. He was a really cool dude. Of course, he ended up getting me into the sociology, and then that which in turn got me into the job that I'm doing now. So, you know, I feel like I've gotten a pretty good return. I've gotten a pretty goddamn good return. US, Mexico, Iran, China, Nigeria, and Russia. Wait, Prospectus, did you take my same class? Monkus. Anyway, you classmate, you gonna step to me? I'll see you in our fucking 10-year reunion, motherfucker. Anyway, you can probably just Google it. Yeah, it's the same curriculum nationally. I know. Okay, but anyway, befriend your teachers, guys. You can make a lot of cool ass friends there. And I'm going to say this as this is the final addendum for the school section, okay? This is the Schoolhouse Rock section, all right? This right here is the college section, okay? And it's just gonna have like one big point of advice. Okay. There you go, motherfucker. Get on in there. Okay? I got to present academic research at academic conferences because I was willing to work with and be buddies with professors. One of the people. Wait, no, I don't even need to use a different example. My girlfriend got involved with the academic work of one of her professors. You can do so much cool shit if you do that. Professors have access to shit you couldn't even fucking believe. There are professors out there, okay? They're lurking, all right? They have spent 40 years pursuing a very specific line of interest. If you are able to, in any way, shape, or form, like get in with these people and work with them and build trust with them, you can unlock. It's like a video game, folks. You get the bonus level, all right? You can get so much shit out of that. Holy fuck. I was president of the Sociology, Criminology, and Justice Studies Club for 2 years. That got me a lot of opportunities. As for networking and making friends, I fucking hate people, so I didn't do any of that shit, okay? But I did meet my girlfriend, and she's really cool, so I like her, all right? Now we get to the general stuff. It's time. It's time. No longer. All right? You've done it. You're not in school anymore. You're big. You're out there in the open world. All right? We're out here in the real world. What the fuck do we do, okay? How do we do praxis? Well, that depends on a lot of stuff, my guys. That depends on so much stuff. Like, an insane amount of stuff. Oh, man. Let's start with electoral politics. Everyone loves electoral politics, don't you? Everyone loves electoral politics. We love electoral politics here. Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. Ooh, I know. Oh, you're so mad. You're so mad. You're so mad, but we're doing it anyway. Ah, you're so mad, but we're starting with the electoral politics. Actually, I'll draw the box after we're done with the text, okay? That's what we're going to do. They're so mad. They're molding. Here are some things that you can do on an electoral level to get your voice out there. First of all, and I know this is all going to sound so old world to you. This is the problem with lefties. This is the problem with lefties. And I'm being serious about this, okay? We're all so hip. We're all so fresh. We've got our fucking clothes on fleek, as I hear the kids say. We've got the TikToks open. We've got the Twitters. Trump is going to be defeated after just this epic meme. I know. Listen, hey, trust me. I don't quite hit the threshold for a Zoomer, but I get it. I literally stream. It's my job, okay? I like feeling hip and fresh. But, and this is very important, okay? The world has not yet caught up to how cool we are, okay? For every one of people like me, dabbing online, getting people to change their political opinions with epic memorinos, okay? There are 15 Karens or 15 like Dennises, or 15 like Billy Bobs or something. I don't know. For them, politics is just about showing up at your local town hall to scream at your representative official because they haven't fixed your tractor. Okay, it's very important to remember that. Okay, for the vast majority of people, politics is a local action. It is a local engagement, and that is the reason why we keep losing fucking elections, okay? That's one of the reasons why we keep losing elections. It's because as much as it fucking hurts, at the end of the day, a huge amount of power in this country comes down to the ability to meet people at their level. Remember the quote from Lenin, my comrades, do not make the mistake of the infantile left communist who abandons electoralism and does not meet the proletariat at their level of radicalization. We must meet them where they are. The average American is not going to come over to Twitter to hear our epic debunking of capitalism, okay? We have to go to them, all right? We gotta go to them. That's very important. And also, hey, guys, you know how 50% of the country votes and that's what decides who the president is, or 50 or 60 or some shit? That percentage is even lower for local elections, okay? Local elections, for the sheriff, for the mayor, all that shit, those are significantly lower because nobody knows what's going on, which means that if a sufficiently intelligent and dedicated and willful group of people actively made an effort to change their local political systems, they would have a greater chance of doing so because they're fighting against a smaller percentage of the general population. You elect sheriffs? Yeah, sheriffs are elected, police chiefs are appointed. Is there any reason why that didn't type? Ah, because I am not tabbed in. Go to your local town hall meetings. Bring up questions and concerns. Do it. I've done it. I'm cool. I'm hip. You think you can't do it? Doesn't take that long. You can meet cool friends there, too. Though they're all going to be old people for the most part, okay? Maybe you can meet, like, a cool old person, all right? I don't fucking know. Could be fun. Can't really do that much if you're not actually familiar with what's on the ballot for local issues, comrade. Council? Yeah. Wait, E or... Wait, is council with an E or an I? I'm getting mixed. With an I? Okay. Catch up on that one. There we go. Guys, what do you... Why are you... Wait, which one? Is it I or E? It's council? Oh, with a C. I was just focusing on the I or the E. I see. Now it looks like a fake word. You know when you look at a word for too long, it just stops meaning anything? That's what I'm feeling that right now. I'm feeling that vibe. I'm vibing at the moment. There we go. It's not even a real word, honestly. Folks, at this moment, in whatever town you are personally in, there are probably there are a collection of people in their 60s or 70s who have spent literally their entire life trying to push for one specific issue, okay? This is even more the case in small towns, trust me. There are always a small group of people who are desperately trying to make their little town or their little environment a better place, okay? This applies no matter where in the world you are, okay? A lot of folks have been saying, ooh, I wish I could do all this, but I can't because I live in some dumb fuck southern town. Nope, this happens there too. What if you go over there and you find who's pushing for the most progressive or the most socialist aligned measure, and then you say, hey, can I help out? Even if you don't end up being able to accomplish much, you are singly capable of getting quite a bit of work done and quite a bit of experience done if you just put yourself to it. What is this big old chunk of links you've given? Oh, this is for Britbongers. I don't care about Britbongers. They're not people to me. I'm in too big of a city? Wrong. Works in big cities too. Dipshit. Worked in Los Angeles, and it worked in my goddamn college town of 20,000 people too. In every city there are people like this. Why don't you try and talk to them? It only takes like an hour, seriously. Just find out about local issues. They've probably got some goddamn website up that looks like it was designed in 1997. Just go around. Yeah, school board meetings. Great suggestion, Aglor. If you're a parent, you got kids or something, you got them locked on up in school, all right, school board meetings. You can do a surprising amount of work there. Hell, even PTA meetings. You can get a lot of work done there. What are those, Vosh? School board meetings, it's because school boards aren't really centralized. It's sort of like a broad collection of things. But generally speaking, decisions that are made that affect like a school district are sometimes held like in a public setting where you can voice concerns. You should take a look at it sometime. I've never been to a school board meeting, but I've heard people have accomplished some pretty neat stuff there. For local election stuff or local electoral stuff, this is pretty much your measure, okay? And I'm gonna box this now. I'm putting it in a little goddamn box, okay? I know this stuff all seems super lame and super uncool, but it's important because, as Superian03 so wisely reminds us from chat, so presciently reminds us from chat, progress tends to come local up, ground up. We hear nowadays, oh, the civil rights movement. Oh, the civil rights movement, they did a big national thing, they got the amendment, kablamo, everyone's fixed, you know? But in reality, usually, big national pushes for progress follow after a state pushes for that same measure of progress. And likewise, states usually do that once cities within their borders start doing the same. Very, very important. I'm not expecting every single one of you to go out there and go to all your local town hall meetings or some shit, because that's a lot of work, and a lot of the people there are fairly old and probably unhip and uncool, and they probably don't know any of the Fortnite dances, and that sucks, and why am I could be playing video games at home, and I get it. I totally get it. I completely get it, okay? But it's still important work. Hey, speaking of important work, if you don't want to do like more specific electoral working within the bounds of society stuff, why don't we try the obvious ones? That's a fucking given. All right? If you can be a part of these orgs, all right? That's a fucking given right off the bat, okay? That's not a hard one, okay? And CPUSA? Yeah. Wait, why? I keep thinking TP. I keep thinking TPUSA. Doesn't CPUSA have some issues? I feel like, isn't CPUSA the one that put out that turf video? Listen, just focus on these three, okay? Show this as an example of town hall meeting with a senator full of people advocating for Medicare for all. Ooh.
I'm also here to talk about Medicare for all.
I'm also here to give you a hard time about Medicare for all.
Medicare for all. Medicare for all.
Medicare for all.
Medicare for all. Medicare for all.
Medicare for all. Medicare for all.
I can tell you that I'm here for Medicare for all.
Earning 7.5% payroll tax to cover Medicare for all would save my family up to $5,000 a year.
My mom would pay $930 a year through her taxes to get full coverage.
Mental health, reproductive health, long-term care, vision, dental, everything. And put thousands of dollars back into my pocket every year.
Your public option plan doesn't promise the same comprehensive benefits as Medicare for all.
A public option would do nothing to eliminate the $500 billion in administrative costs.
Look at how uncomfortable this man looks. Look at how look at this dude. Look at this dude. Look at this senator. Look at this Connecticut senator. Look at this dude. He's sweating over there. My God. This dude looks cool. Look at this guy. This guy looks like, I don't know, 25 or some shit. You could go here. Guys, can you not imagine yourself going here and harassing your elected officials? Do you have any idea how frequently senators, congresspeople, mayors, and sometimes even governors will open themselves up to public inquiry?
Or more.
That harmful system.
We live in a civilized society.
Look, this motherfucker can't be more than 22. Look at this kid.
But I'm just going to tell you, I represent the whole state, and there are lots of other people in the state who would rather have the choice.
No, there's not.
There is not. That is not true. People want to choose their doctor and their hospital, not their insurance company, not their insurance plan.
Wrong. It's true. Hey, wouldn't that have been fun? Imagine if you had gone there and you had made friends, okay? What if we kissed while the senator was lying about what the public wants with regards to insurance company choices? Haha, just kidding. Unless. I'll put CPUSA in here. Just so folks don't get all cranky with me. That's cringe, Vosh? You're cringe. Fuck off. Love you too, babe. Yeah, that's a fucking given. Find Find and volunteer at local or mutual aid organizations, everything from soup kitchens to anarchist libraries. Please do remember, this is very important to remember, that unless you really do strike lucky, unless some truly phenomenal shit takes place, unless some truly extraordinary stuff takes place, you are probably not going to be holding the fucking banner as we run over the hill in the glorious vanguard of the revolution, okay? So don't focus on that. Focus on living not an ordinary life, but a structured, decent life. Okay? Focus on living a life that is happy. Focus on living a life that is socially competent. Focus on living a life where you have the opportunity to develop your passions. Focus on a life where you can achieve enough material comfort that you don't need to live your life day by day, just desperately forestalling homelessness or starvation. And then, once you're in that position, do what you can to make the world a little bit of a better place. That's not the word. Any advice for feeling like we missed out on what was supposed to be our peak socializing years? You make your own peak socializing years. That fucking high school's peak, college's peak shit, it's fucking bullshit, dude. The only reason that's the case is because we live in some fucking hyper-atomized society where after school, nobody has any incentivization to go on and fucking make friends anymore. You make your own social years, okay? You choose that. That's a choice you get to make. There are some things that just get worse with time, okay? You know what? Past 25, your body's going to start to ache a little bit more, okay? Complain about that. All right? There, you go that, okay? Eventually, you're probably going to have trouble, I don't know, fucking with sleeping through the night, all right? Stuff like that's going to happen. You know what isn't an inevitable component of being old? Losing your friends, okay? That is just not the case. That is not the case. Vosh, I unironically have gotten laid a dozen times because I've been out doing volunteer work. Do you have any idea how horny volunteer work is? Do you have any fucking idea? Okay, you're behind the soup kitchen line. All right, you're spooning the ladle. You reach over and you just put your entire arm up the pussy of the other person you're with. Okay, no, for real though. Okay, these people, the volunteers, are fucking all the time. All the time. They're doing it all. Not harassment. It's consensual. No, the implication was that. Okay, all right, okay. Wait, I'm so sorry. My apologies. When I said volunteering is horny, I thought the implicit implication there was everyone there is horny and not you're sexually harassing or... Okay. Hygiene issue, though? Yeah, okay. Well, take it up with the homeless people, all right? Seriously, though, volunteering is like a super fucking excellent opportunity to network, all right? Okay? No, I'm being serious here, okay? Okay, anyway. The point that I'm getting at here is you've not missed your social peak or whatever bullshit, okay? You really haven't. Literally no one volunteering is horny. Heine, I know you know that's wrong. I know for a fact you know that's wrong because of your volunteering experience, okay? Please don't encourage people to volunteer just for sex. Wrong! No! Hey, guys, do you want to make friends and get pussy? Go ahead and volunteer. Make the world a better place, even if you're getting personally something out of it. Way on chat and girlfriend and make everything weird all the time. Holy shit, there's nothing wrong with socializing. There is nothing wrong with being, lascivious and doing a little bit of volunteer work along the way, okay? Volunteering is packed full of young people who are passionate about things they care about and who are interested in socializing with people of like interests. Leftists are also by default hornier because there are fewer leftists than there are everyone else, which means they're looking for other people who match with them socially. And that means, of course, that, they're more wanton when they find them, okay? That's just a fact of life, okay? All right? There we go. Now, I can't provide all of you a comprehensive list of every single available like mutual aid or local aid organization in the United States of America. There are probably thousands of them. If you do just a little bit of work, you can find them, motherfucker. You can find them, okay? You motivated me to run for student government in my uni. Barely anyone ran. Several of us leftists won unopposed. Y'all got to get involved. We need to be present. Fucking true, Klaus Mouse. Fucking true. Very fucking true. Hey, yeah, you know what? You know what else is a really good one? This is a kill shot. Are you ready for this one? This is a fucking killer right here. Volunteer with or work at local political campaigns. This is how AOC got her political experience before she got to be a fucking congresswoman and one of the most popular politicians in the country, okay? If you work with or volunteer local political organizations, now, hey, mind you, you're going to need to be competent to do this, okay? Most of the stuff that I'm talking about here is stuff most anyone can do. If you want to work for a local political campaign, you're going to need to know shit. That either means you're going to need a political science degree, a sociology degree, a criminology degree, or something to that effect, or it means that you're going to need to just be sociable and available enough that they're going to take you on anyhow. Yeah, communications degree, English degrees sometimes even can do it. Very important to remember that. But if you can do this, being able to intern at a campaign or volunteer with a campaign or actually be brought on to get paid to do the campaign, this is very important. What about leftists that don't like socializing? Lamau, the speech is probably really off-putting then. I'm really sorry, guys, but guys, do you really, really think we're going to be able to win if we're anti-social? Like, that is, yeah, like, that's just really important, like, at a baseline level. Now, there are things you can do if you're not feeling that social, and I'm going to talk about those soon. But most of the stuff that you need to be able to do, or that you can do, requires some social inclinations, you know? I'm not trying to ostracize anyone in the community. We're going to get to your shit soon, okay? Volunteering and working with local political campaigns is so fucking important. It is crazy how important it is. Now, what you're probably going to note is that everything that we've been talking about so far has been with the aim of achieving one of two things. It has either been, or actually three things. It's either been about living a fulfilling life that allows you the opportunity to be strong. It has been about involving yourself in the political system to try and get lefties in political office. Or it's been about spreading class consciousness, i.e. putting yourself in a position where you can convince other people, okay? Now get ready for it, folks, okay? Are you ready for the antisocial leftism, gang? Are you ready for antisocial leftism? What can I do as an antisocial leftist to get involved, make the world a better place? You ready for it? Wait. Posting is praxis. Posting is praxis. It's just a fact of the matter. It's very true. It's true. It's very true. Yeah, sorry, not antisocial, asocial. My apologies. Posting is praxis. I know this sounds cringe. It's still the truth. It is cringe, and it's also true, okay? These are the two big ones. A lot of you are trying to do this at the moment. A lot of you have already done this. And I'm not trying to say you donating to me makes you a better leftist or anything, but just as a matter of fact, by donating to me, you do give me the opportunity to keep doing this, which does convince, a fair number of people. But if you're interested in becoming popular on social media yourself, I'm not going to give you a fucking point-by-point breakdown of everything that you could ever do to, yeah, okay, you can do your little swingies if you want, yeah. I'm not going to give you a point-by-point breakdown of everything that you could possibly do, but like, hey man, TikTok, Twitter, there are huge avenues. I'm serious. TikTok is like booming right now. I'm pretty sure if you're, I'll be fair because this is a bias, if you're attractive, like TikTok is pretty fucking harsh if you're not conventionally attractive. But if you are conventionally attractive, or at least in the ballpark of being conventionally attractive, and you do like a good enough little fucking dance routine to a song where you're pointing at boxes saying that healthcare is a human right or something, if you do that proper, like you can get a lot of attention, you know, hell of a lot of attention. On Twitter, you don't have to be hot. That's the best part of Twitter. You can go on Twitter, you can do whatever the fuck you want, guys. There are a lot of people on Twitter who have gotten quite a bit of attention and convinced a fair number of people just by shitposting. It's actually pretty crazy how that works, huh? You can do so much in the realm of social media. On Facebook, I don't really use Facebook or know anything about Facebook, but I'm sure there's something that you can do there. Y'all want to go on Gab? Want to go on Nazi Twitter? I don't know. Maybe pull 1 or 2 people back. You don't even have to make it like a going like big, getting popular kind of thing or any shit like that. You can do more than that. Here, look. You know, one of the reasons why alt-right shit and inceldom have correlate so perfectly, such to the effect that basically every Nazi online is guaranteed to have never even come within a whiff of a pussy? The reason for that, fundamentally, is because people have made an active effort, and by people I mean dipshits, have made an active effort to try and pull, true hyena, have tried to pull incels into their Nazi communities. Why don't you do that, but do it better? There are a lot of deeply alienated people out there. Deeply alienated people out there, okay? Lots of lonely folk. A lot of them are in my chat right now. But you all are leftists, which means you're all right. There are a lot of not leftist lonely folk. And usually when people are in a state of weakness, and I don't mean that in a pejorative sense, if people are in a state of vulnerability, if they're in a state of, despair, they are very open to being shown new ways of thinking that they believe will fix their material deprivation. And in such an instance, whoever gets to them first, I mean, it's kind of an open grab. Why not try being the first person to get to them? You do not have to become this person's best friend. You don't have to hurt yourself to try and kowtow to their weird suicidal inclinations, because a lot of them do that shit, like this weird, like abusive, like I'm gonna kill myself unless people are nice to me kind of stuff. It happens. I know. I've had a lot of people talk to me in that way, especially now that I'm big. But if you can reach out, maybe show people a nice community, that can go a really long way. Seriously, I can speak to, before I became a big YouTube boy or whatever, there were some people who I would see get brought into Destiny's Discord, because that's where I was, back before I had my own. They would be pulled into Destiny's Discord as like incel-esque like reactionaries, and they were just shown like a decent group of people and give them a few months and they're decent. And they feel better. Doesn't know. Yeah. Xanderhall says like this was him. Like, it's just, think about it this way, guys. I know it doesn't seem like much, but at the end of the day, every one of us gets exactly one life. That's it. That is the exact amount of lives that we get, except for Hillary Clinton, who of course, feasts off the virginal blood of, the Iraqi children, and she gets many. But most of us just get one. If you, in your entire lifetime, manage to bring one single human being in despair over towards your side of thinking, you have doubled. Like an amoeba, you have asexually reproduced, and you have done something incredible. It's like a multi-marketing scheme. If every single one of us could do that, just bring one person over. Now, of course, math is never that simple, but it's something to think about. I'm putting in work for all of you. I've converted thousands of people. Catch up. I'm reproducing like crazy. I'm all over the place. Oh. Just get past that. Report TOS violations. You know, just see anything violating TOS. Just try to keep websites clean. That's all. A lot of people just block. Why not report and block, you know? What if lefties are violating TOS? You can do what you want, comrade. Now, this is kind of a talent-specific one, but if you've noticed, there are a lot of cartoons and artists who are very frequently the subject of drama because their art is very clearly like queer or queer-coded or otherwise unfavorable to reactionaries. Nowadays, reactionaries have pretty much completely consolidated themselves behind being anti-art. Nowadays, the art reactionaries like, it can only be the most boilerplate, cookie cutter, like hegemony approved media. But rapidly, movies are overtaking them. They're fucking pissed off about Cape shit, Brie Larson, you know, Marvel movies. Cartoons are pissing them off. Pretty much every single fucking cartoon made these days, pretty much all animation that comes out of America or American, you know, studios, is too progressive for their tastes. Even a lot of anime is getting too progressive. There is an increasing amount of pro-trans, pro-queer anime that is coming out of Japan. Video games. Jesus Christ. Reactionaries are protesting The Last of Us 2 because the protag protagonist looks like a girl surviving an apocalypse and doesn't look like a sex doll. I mean, she's androgynous, yeah, but sure. Okay. Cool. And hey, you want to go even further than that? This is what's real funny to me. Even porn is getting too progressive for these motherfuckers. Isn't she like 12? No, that's in the first game. Now she's like 18 or 19. Even porn is getting too progressive for these motherfuckers. If you go on any animated or like any like drawn porn, like e-hentai or some shit, more and more porn comics that are popular, I can speak from personal experience, are getting increasingly progressive, with more inclusions, reasonable inclusions of transgender or of queer people, more diverse body types being represented, like hugely so. This is the case even in hentai that is being produced. And what's more, even mainstream pornography, which is fucking disgusting, by the way. I fucking hate mainstream pornography, like real IRL pornography. The IRL pornographic medium is generally growing more permissive of the interracial genre, whereas before doing interracial porn as like a white actress would ostracize you from a lot of other like gigs and material. Nowadays it's being considered more like, you know, more whatever, like everyone does it, which means that by my count, essentially every single medium of art, or at least a ton of them. Comics are also getting too progressive for them. I don't know much about music. I can't really speak to that. Video games are getting too fucking progressive for them. The indie video game scene has always been really fucking progressive compared to the mainstream one, and even the mainstream video games these days are getting pretty fucking progressive. Everything is moving past reactionaries. So, I posit this. Art is praxis. Producing art is praxis. To produce art is to fight against reactionary tendencies. It is always in the interest of the reactionary to destroy creativity in art when it does not suit their political agenda. And right now, it sure as fuck does not. Just something to keep in mind. I've watched Beastars, Aurora, and talked about it plenty. Thank you, Ilia. Are there any other particular areas of any other subjects that people are especially interested in? How could I forget? How could I forget? I forgot the biggest one of them all. Shut up, everyone. I don't need your education. I don't need your information. It is not legal to fire a person for talking about unionizing, but goddamn if it's going to happen anyway. Be careful. What if my boss is kind of okay? Don't matter. One of the most insidious ways that businesses will make an effort to keep people from radicalizing within their workplace is to keep people from sharing what their salaries are. What if you are a manager? If you are a manager, then there are plenty of things, plenty of powers that you have that I'm not even aware of. It depends on your industry, it depends on your firm. You got to be a good manager. And hey, if you're a manager, maybe turn the other way if your workers start talking about unionizing. Maybe even introduce the idea to them, you know, like, hey, you guys have been doing so well. I don't know what you guys are being paid around here, but, you know, unions, it's been shown, correlate, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what you can get away with. I don't know what system you are working within, but as a manager, you have, you know, a fair amount of leeway. They'll get fired immediately? Yeah, if you're obvious about it. Again, it's not it's illegal to fire somebody for talking about unionizing or for sharing their salaries, but it happens anyway. On May Day, we're going to be attempting a general strike. I don't know if we have the public support to do it. Unions haven't been this weak in a century. But this is the number one power of the proletariat. This is the single power, the greatest power that we have. It is something that the bourgeois, the ruling class, fear more than any other. It is something they can literally never take from us. The general strike is single-handedly capable of bringing a country to its knees. General Strike 2020 on May Day. But May 1st is a holiday here? Hold on. Yeah, it's this Friday. Goodness me. Can't believe it's coming up so soon. I'll be streaming. I hope you don't all mind me not striking. Even though I make YouTube money. General Strike is going to be kicking off here. Gen Strike 2020. The working class is rising up. We did not start this movement. We do not own this movement. We are not leaders. Want to get involved? Contact us now. Global crisis, who we are. I feel like if you've been watching me for long enough, you know, I feel like you probably get the gist of what this website is saying. And it's good stuff. It's real good stuff. I'm not entirely sure how effective. That is a loud grass cutter. My God. And with the window closed too, huh? That's how it's gonna be? How can that be so loud? How is that even possible? Well, I hate it. Yeah. Well, guess I'm just gonna have to talk over it. We can't hear it? Yes, you can. Listen, just pretend it's my computer fan, okay? I can't even hear it? Oh, well, I can see it on the fucking beep beep. All right, listen. How can we avoid getting fired/harassed by our boss for general striking? That is extremely difficult for me to answer without having some specific knowledge. Holy shit, it's me, Marin. Thank you so fucking much. I'll get to that in just a sec, because I gotta hit this through real quick. Jesus. Whew. Thank you so much, comrade. Oh, thank God. Whew. Without knowing the specific details of whatever place you work at, I can't really give advice on how to avoid reprisal come General Strike 2020. But I encourage you all to look into it. There are so many more things that I can type out here, guys. Did you know that you don't need to have a degree to publish research? If you have the education necessary, which you can get online for free, you might be able to develop statistical analyses that could be useful to other people. If you compile statistics, and find some interesting shit, that can be enormously useful to other people. You should probably take that into consideration. If you're a math major or a science major, math major especially, your knowledge of statistics is invaluable to sociology-oriented people. If you're a general sciences major, there are so many things that you can do to advance our cause. Mostly, as a scientist in particular, by pushing for better public funding of research, and additionally, pushing for a removal of the current system of grant-based research funding. One of the biggest problems with research right now is that the things that sound like the flashiest get grant funding unless you're willing to do corporate research. If you're working for corporate, you'll be paid to do whatever they want you to do. But if you're a general researcher, you need to be able to get grants. And in order for you to get grants, you need to be able to sell your ideas, you know, and they need to be real flashy. So that's an issue. I'm gonna general strike that fucking lawnmower. What about programmers? I don't know, make a fucking game about how much better the world would be if everyone owned the places they worked at. There are so many things that I could go into here. There are an enormous number of things that I could go into here, but I'm not going to, because I feel like, honestly, to attempt to be exhaustive here is A, futile, and B, probably counterproductive. I'm going to end it on this. I'm going to say this, guys. From now on, if you want to know what you can do to make leftism more palatable, to bring it about, here's what you need to focus on, okay? If you want to go out and about and walk on the streets and do actual physical work in the real world, attend city council meetings, consider even running for city council or even for higher positions if possible. Go to school board meetings, go to PTA meetings if you got a kid who's in there, okay? Do everything you can to involve yourself in these processes. Go on and volunteer with local orgs that have been doing this shit since before you were born. Go and volunteer for mutual aid organizations or for charity organizations organizations or for organizations that assist the poor or the homeless. If you're willing to do stuff online but hate stepping outside because you're a fucking degenerate NEET like I am, go online and post. Posting is Praxis. Throw those fucking memes out there. Go into Discord groups. Maybe learn how to debate a little bit. Practice debating with people. Not in a hostile environment, but learn how to express your ideas effectively. If you don't even want to talk to people, then maybe you can just stick to Twitter posting, okay? Even that can do work. Retweeting is Praxis too, after all. And hey, you enjoy doing that? Maybe consider bringing some folks over who seem lonely. There are a lot of lonely people on the internet and a lot of very disparate groups. If you're so interested, maybe go into some like communities that you have a tangential relationship with, like gaming communities. Pop on in there and see if there's anyone in there who looks like they might be amicable to a conversation. There is so much that you can do. If you're an expert, if you have expertise in a field, I guarantee you there is something you can do. If you're an artist, just the process of producing art is better for the world. Even higher up corporate art these days is anti-reactionary in most senses. If you want to go ahead and be a real fucking big boy leftist, go ahead. The IWW, the DSA, the SRA, the CPUSA, they are all waiting for you, motherfucker. Write letters to your local politicians, okay? Go out and volunteer. Seriously, you'll get some pussy from it. If you're a real fucking big boy and you've really got skills to offer, go ahead and volunteer. Go ahead and work with, go ahead and intern at local political campaigns, okay? Does everyone here know Dylan? Dylan, aka Twappy, aka the youngest foreign policy advisor in the history of the United States of America? That motherfucker is like 17 years old, a foreign policy, well now he's 19, but at the time, 17 years old and a foreign policy advisor. Can you believe that? Dylan Burns is set for fucking life, my dudes. You know why? Not because he lucked out and made a bunch of money, not because he got born to some rich daddy, but instead because Dylan Burns, of his own willpower, of his own strength of character, went out there, took advantage of an opportunity, and put himself in a position to politically advise people 4 times his age. So that's what you should do. And maybe if you really wanna, you can try making a YouTube channel or Twitch channel or something. But do keep in mind, it's 1 in 100 for you to make it. And 1 in 1,000, I think, for you to make it in the way that I did. God damn, was I lucky. Don't set your hopes too high on any given outcome. Just try to live a good life. Live a life of praxis. Live a life where your spare time is not met with you dully playing video games while secretly wishing you had a hot Anson GF to suck the titties of. Not sitting there in bed laying and wishing that you had been more social in high school, but actively involving yourself in your community. Find those glorious Anson titties to suck from, okay? Find those volunteering opportunities for you to make friends at. You make your own social situation. And as much as I love you guys being here in chat, as much as I love having you all here to hang out with me, okay, and I really do, and it's literally my job, if the only thing you think you can do for Praxis is watching a leftist streamer, you're misguided, my friend. Come on and watch me, sure. Have fun with it, sure. But right now, how long have I been streaming? 3 hours? You think there wasn't something you could have been doing? Now, you don't have to do anything with that time. That's not your job. But maybe you would have felt a little bit better if you had. Now, of course, right now the quarantine is upon us, you know, which is changing everything. And honestly, all of this is made infinitely more difficult because of the quarantine. During the quarantine, obviously, online activism, much more important. Much more important to get involved, like through websites or email lists, you know, fairly obviously. But yeah, just generally speaking, the quarantine isn't going to last forever, but the immortal emancipatory science of anarcho-syndicalism is. So, okay, got to get ready, okay?